Hi and welcome to another instalment on the Restoration Shack. This time we're going to be doing something a little bit different to normal. I usually, as you've seen me do, the Lowrider collection bikes, which are the Lowrider bikes with 20-inch. This is made by the same company, but a little bit rarer. There's not as many of these about, especially in chrome. So what we're going to do is we're going to start this build. I've been waiting on a few parts to come in, and also I've had a bit of fabrication work done on this seat post. Which I was waiting for because that was damaged. So that's now complete. So I'm going to try and build it up, try and get it done in one shot. I'm going to have to just mess about with camera angles because the forks on it are slightly different on this, so I need to make sure that you guys can see the forks going in. But yeah, let's get some parts thrown on it and get going. Okay, so the other Lowrider bikes have got a Springer setup, which is basically standard bottom and top parts of the tube for the assembly. This one has actually got triple clamps, which if you've not known what triple clamps are, I'll soon make that clear. So let's get this front fork on first, or the front section on. So you've got the same again as I always have. You've got the top and bottom bearings. So pop that in. Bearings in. There's a little black sort of gasket there, which goes on after the bearing cap, and that kind of holds that in place, hopefully, while I get the next part. No, it doesn't. Let's see what we can do. Try and get the next bit. And then you have the top part of the clamp, which will then hold it all in place. Like that. Let's try and set this a bit better. It's quite a heavy bike as well, so I think it's going to want to tip. So I think what we'll do is we'll try and shift it a little bit, because once I get the front end on it, it's literally going to be nose heavy. So we'll try and turn that a little. Just make sure you guys can still see me. Just give me a minute. So we have two of what I call them stanchions. So these basically go through the triple clamps and bolt up. Now there are two different types depending on what you're putting on the bike. So this one doesn't have a front brake on, so it purely has just standard axle brackets at the bottom there. There are other versions, just a minute, which if you're going to have a front hub brake, has the little cable ferrule on it, and at the bottom has the connector, so you can basically lock the hub brake onto it. But this one I'm doing as just a freewheeling front wheel. It's just a cleaner look. So these slide in. I think what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of lubrication on it, like a bit of WD-40, and I think that might actually be clamped up as well, so just open that out. It's quite tight, so we'll just put a little screwdriver in there, just open it out a little. Just put a little bit of WD-40 on it. Wipe that off after. It also stops it scratching it. Just make it quite tricky to hold though, because it's quite slippy now. Try that one. Oops. Now just kind of give you an idea as well. The forks, as you hopefully can see, they're offset, so this has to go to the wheel side, otherwise you can't get the axle in. So this is actually the left hand stanchion, and this other one, this is the right hand side. So just send that through the bottom. Line it up on the top one, send it through. Now I'm going, although you can't see on camera, I'm going so it's just level with the top. So as I'm running my fingers over this top clamp, I can just feel the stanchion going through, and then we'll get the other one on. Just loosen this off, I think this is quite tight. Once again, just send it through until you can just feel it being a bit proud on the top. Just level it. Yeah, that's it. So the bottom crank on these is a little bit bigger than on the 20-inch, and the usually this design, there's a little bit of corrosion on it, but the arms now are free, and to try and get this corrosion off, I'd end up damaging the lacquered paint on there. But normally on the lowriders, on the 20-inch lowriders, you've just got the circular holes and it's stamped with lowrider. These aren't, but if it's this design where it's black with just the outer chain ring with all the holes in, that is the correct crank for this, or sprocket for this bike. I've managed to put the bike on such a place that I can't actually get the bottom bracket in because the clamp's holding me off. So we'll just amend that. Another reason why I don't do many of these, because they're very awkward. The size and the weight of them and the frame position. Just make sure you can still see me. Try again. So crank in. Got a bearing cage on the sprocket side, and then on the other side we've got the bearing cage. And we have like a bearing cap. And these are opposite threads. So whereas you'd normally turn it left or anti-clockwise to loosen it, this one you turn it anti-clockwise to tighten it. So what I'm looking for is that there's no play in the bearing, in the shaft on the bottom bracket. Just leave it a little bit looser than I would normally, because once I put the locking washer on and the lock nut, then it does tighten it a little bit. So I just leave it a little bit looser than I would, but then once I tighten this on, this will just take the bearing cup just a little bit, bearing case just a little bit further than it will. Should get then is that it's free. It's a little tight, so what I do then is just take that off, just loosen the bearing cap a little bit more, and then take it back on. It's just basically try and error a little bit. Sometimes you don't get it exactly right. What you're looking for is for it to be like that, so it's free spinning, but there's no drag when you're spinning it. Obviously drag when you're pedaling, you end up damaging the bearings, or it's harder to pedal, so that is spot on. Right, next we've got, so it is a big bike, so there's certain parts of it I'm going to have to do when it's on the floor with the wheels on. So I think what we'll do is we'll get, even the sissy bar is a little difficult, so I think I'll get the back wheel in, drop the front wheel on, and then we're going to have to get it onto the floor to do the other parts. And there are just a couple little bits I thought I can actually do while it's on the frame. So we can get the side stand on. Now these bikes normally have, if it's the correct one, have this one. So it says Nuvo on it. Nuvo, and I can't, it says Nuvo Pat, but it's usually made by Nuvo, that the ones that are on. And it's an adjustable or sliding sprung-loaded stand. And they are located usually on this side, because it's opposite the chain. And position is personal preference. What I try and do is just put it on loosely, and then I'll move it about until I get a nice sort of happy medium of the frame. Now you've obviously got to watch on the back of here, because you've got your coaster brake hanger and bracket, so you need to stay away from that. So I'll usually put it, centralise it here, and then I'll just kind of, once the bike's on its wheels, adjust it and put it to where it needs to be. And we can get the bike chain put back on. Now you've seen me do these before, so some of them have a split link in it. This one doesn't. It is all the correct chain linkages. So I've just got a tool to feed it through. So I've got this chain splitter tool, so basically I'll just kind of, I'm obviously taking it off, wind it all the way out. The pin's already pushed through on the chain. Don't think I'm going to be able to get you close enough to see it, but we'll put that through. Like I say, I've done this on numerous videos, and then you just wind it back in and it pushes the pin back into that chain link. Just try and get it so it hits it straight, so it doesn't bend the pin in a wrong angle. You can just see it coming out the other side. That's levelled. Chain comes out, and then you've got your movement on your chain. So I think that's as much as I can. Oh, the back wheel, get that on. And this is another difference between this and the ordinary lowrider choppers that you've seen me do, is that this has a 20-inch front wheel usually and a 26-inch rear wheel. Now there are some others out there which have the 20-inch front and 20-inch rear. My personal opinion, I don't think they look as good. I think this one does need that difference and that big wheel on the back, just because of the stance of it, and everything on this bike is sort of bigger and bolder than the lowriders. But these still have the same coaster rear brake, same setup as you see on the lowrider and the other standard 20-inch lowriders, with the lock-in bracket on there for the reel. Everything's the same. So I think what we'll do is I'll get you onto a stand on the floor so you can see. We'll get the front wheel on, and then I can start building it up a bit better, so you can see everything else going on. But to be honest, there isn't much on these. There's no fenders. I've never seen them with fenders. It is just purely the bigger accessories that need to go on now. So let me get you in a stand and we'll carry on. I'm actually struggling as well for workshop space. I've got that many bikes in here. ones that are nearly done, ones that are waiting on parts. The hedge fine chopper that you saw in the last video, I've got to drop that back off to my friend, and then a couple of bikes that people have brought me in that need repairs. So yeah, quite full. So hopefully you can see what we're going to do. I'm just going to pop this front wheel on, and then that lines up and drops in. I'm just going to put it on finger tight for now, because I still need to just adjust the forks maybe a little. So that kind of gives you the overall or rough stance of it. And then, as we said, with the drop stand leg, you kind of just adjust that to where you need it. So I'm going to bring that forward a little bit because it's just catching on that wheel. Better there. Gives it a decent stand, that actually. So yeah, good with that. So we've got, I'll just bring it back on there just so I'm not resting on the stand so you can see it a bit better. So we've got handlebars to fit, seat to go on. Now the seat on this one, it's sort of similar to the Lowrider seats. It is still stamped with the Lowrider emblem on the back, hopefully you can see, but it's a little bit more plush and it's got like a diamond stitch in it. And this sits quite a way back on here, and then you've got quite a large kicked back sissy bar on this one as well. So a couple of things I've not done in sort of rushing to sort of put bits on is I've not actually put the chain over the back wheel, so we need to sort that, and also I need to fit the sissy bar at the same time on the back wheel. So we had a little bit of an incident there when I was trying to get everything put together, where everything kind of came unglued for me. The bike fell, so I thought, well, rather than you see me swearing and wrestling with it, just cut back to it. So I've got the sissy bar on, hopefully you can see sissy bar on. We have a double bolted seat clamp. They're a little bit more heavy duty on the cruise on these choppers than they are on the standard Lowrider. That sits there, and then I've got once again things want to drop. This is a genuine Lowrider seat, slightly deeper padding than on the standard chopper cruise on the standard Lowriders. So the choppers have got a little bit, it's a bit of a bigger banana seat as well. Got the seat post, so we're going to pop that in. And set it to the height for the seat. It's actually pretty much bang on as well as it is. So we've just got to work out where I want it. We might take it a bit higher, but I think for now I've set it at all the middle points. So I'm going to just lock that in. So that's the seat in loosely. Like I say, I've set it all up. Just nip that back into rough spot. Like that. We've got pedals left to put on. We'll do them next. And these are the standard. I don't think they're bear claw, but they're similar to it. So see which one that is. Can't see in this light. Got a left and a right. Just bear with me. This one's left. think what we'll have to do is then, I might have to take it outside for you to see it when it's fully done, just based on size. As I say, I do want to show you against a normal lowrider. Change angles for you so you can see me a bit better. So to give you some form of scale, that is a set of normal lowrider bars, and this is a set of the ape hangers. They have got to be another, maybe double the size of them. I'm just trying to find, there's a little bracket I need for the clamp them in. It's the set of ape hangers for it. I'll set them up after. Then we have some upgrade grips, which are sort of like a skull, and they're kind of leather. So I think I'll try and change the angle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these on. It'll be off camera, but I'll pop them on and I'll bring you back when the bike's sort of better, when we've got a bit more room. So this is it done. I've had to wheel it outside just due to the size of it, and the ape hangers. The only bit I didn't show you was as I was doing the chain guard, slightly bigger chain guard than on the others, but we've now got 26-inch rear and 20-inch front. The frame needs a bit of a wipe down, just to get rid of my fingerprints on it and such. We've got the velour seat. One thing you will notice with these bikes is they don't have a Ball Lowrider stamped on the tyres. What they should be is they should be a white wall tyre with the word Duro stamped on them. So the front one is a 20-inch by 2.125, I think it is, and the back one is a 26 by 2.125. I'll just verify the front one. Hopefully you can see that on there. So that's 20-inch by 2.125. Both are 144 spokes, and if I just wheel in one of my standard lowered, one of the standard 20-inch lowriders, so you can see the difference. Bear with me. So that is the difference in bikes, size wise. The front one has been lowered by me putting an extended crown on it, which kind of slams the front, so you end up using the pedals as a bike stand. But yeah, the chopper bike at the back is big. It is a great bike to ride, really comfortable. The most comfortable ones I've ridden, but I did have one, but it was taking up so much room that I just couldn't keep hold of it. So I ended up selling it, because trying to take that to festivals and shows was just a nightmare, trying to get it in the van. You just had to disassemble it. But they are beautiful looking bikes, I'll be honest. I do like them, and if you're 6 foot like myself, 6 foot plus, they are a decent bike to ride. Well, hopefully that's sort of been an insight into the build of these. They are a little rarer than the lowriders. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please subscribe. My name is Mark, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.